Welcome back, students. Today we're going to be solving multi-step equations with the variable on both sides of our equation. Okay, so today's essential question is, what is the difference between having variables on one side versus both sides, and how do I handle them on both sides? Just like before, if you have any questions, make sure you write them down on the left-hand side so that you can come back and ask your teacher for any help or clarification. Okay, so let's get started. Our first example, we have 3x equals 6x plus 45. And what you will notice, our variable x is on both sides. I have a 3x here and a 6x here. Whereas before, our variable would be already on one side, and we just get rid of any number surrounding the variable. So the only difference now is that we need to make sure we put our x's or the variable that you're dealing with together on one side. And it doesn't necessarily matter which side you move the variable to, but there is usually always one way that's more convenient than the other. Okay, so let's dive in. I'm going to move this 6x to join the 3x on the left side. Since there's not a constant on that side, it's more convenient to move the 6x to the left than to move the 3x to the right. So I move the 6x by subtracting it because it's a positive 6x on the right. So to do the opposite would be to subtract it. On the left, I have 3x minus 6x, and that's going to give me a negative 3x. Bring down my equal sign. 6x minus 6x is 0, but we don't write that number down. We bring down our 45, and then we continue to solve a normal equation. I need to get x by itself, so I have negative 3 times x. The opposite of multiplying would be to divide by negative 3. So x equals negative 15. Okay, so my steps were, step 1, get the variable on one side only. Then we will follow our steps from the previous lesson. So we will add or subtract, then multiply or divide. And in this example, right here on this step, we didn't have to add or subtract. So we skipped that step and went straight to step 3, and we divided by negative 3. Okay, but sometimes we'll have to add or subtract something before we multiply or divide. Okay, so then continuing on, split my two sides. I have negative 2x plus 4 equals 12x minus 24. Again, my x's are on opposite sides, and I need them to be together. For this one, there isn't a convenient or easier or faster way to do it because I have two x's, one on each side, and there's also a constant, the plus 4 and the minus 24 on each side. So it really doesn't matter if I move the 2x or if I move the 12x. It's really preference. So I'm going to move the 2x to the right because I'm going to keep my numbers positive. So I'm going to add 2x to this side on the left and the right. So negative 2x plus 2x is 0. Bring down my 4 equals 12x plus 2x is 14x. Bring down my negative 24. Now I have just a regular two-step equation. I need to get this x, whoops, wrong one. I need to get this x by itself, so I need to get rid of my 14 and my negative 24. So just like I talked about before, I just got my variable on one side. Now I need to add or subtract, and the number that needs to be needs to do step 2 is negative 24. Since it's subtracting here, I'm going to add 24 to both sides. 4 plus 24 is 28. Bring down my 14x. Negative 24 plus 24 is 0. Now I multiply or divide. I'm going to divide both sides by 14. 28 divided by 14 is 2. 14 divided by 14 is 1x, or just x. So my answer is 2. The steps we followed here were the same ones as above. So I'm going to write them more in detail this time. I added 2x to both sides. Then I added 24 to both sides. And my step 3 was divide 14 to both sides. Okay, so in this example, we did our step 1, step 2, and step 3. And sometimes you won't do all the steps, just like the first one. All right, the last one. Again, my x's are on separate sides, and they need to be together. But before I can even do that, this left side reads 3 times 4x minus 2 in parentheses equals 26 plus 2x. So I can't just move this 4x or move the 2x to this side because I need to get rid of these parentheses. And the way I do that is I'm going to distribute this 3 into both terms inside my parentheses. So on the first one, I do 3 times 4x, that gives me 12x. 3 times a negative 2 is a negative 6, equals 26 plus 2x. Okay, now that my parentheses gone, my problem looks like the one I just did above. I have a 12x and a 2x. I need to just have one set of x's on one side. And I personally like to keep my numbers positive, so I'm going to move the 2x on the right side to join the 12x on the left. Okay, and again, it doesn't matter. I could have moved the 12x to join the 2x. You still will get the same answer. Okay, after I do that, 12x minus 2x is 10x. Bring down the negative 6. A lot of you tend to forget the negative. Bring down the 26. 2x minus 2x is 0, but we don't write 0 down. Okay, now I have just a regular two-step equation. Continue to solve for x. I need to get rid of my 10 and my negative 6. But our steps above say we have to add or subtract first, so we add this 6 to both sides. Bring down my 10x. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0, equals 26 plus 6 is 32. Now my last step is divide both sides by 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1x, or just an x. And 32 divided by 10 is 3.2, or I can reduce that fraction to 16 over 5. We'll accept either one. Okay? So this last one is one of the most challenging ones because there's a lot of steps that you need to make sure you follow, but it's still just take it part by part and you guys got this. So let me write down our steps we just did. These were a little different. So we used the distributive property to distribute the 3 to 4x. Then we distributed 3 to the negative 2. And then we subtracted the 2x on both sides. Then I lost myself, sorry. Then I added 6. That's right here, 10x minus 6. So we added 6 to both sides. Then my last step was I divided both sides by 10. Okay. All right, so again, that's the end of our notes. If you had any questions on any of the problems along the way, just make sure you write them on the left side under the questions right here. You can put any questions you want. You could come ask us in tutorials or in class. And just take some time to write a summary, 1 to 2 sentences about the lesson of what you took from it. And that's all.